I'm going to start 2025 off on the right foot by presenting high-level overviews to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. This month's banner features twin sisters Alia and Ilia from Langrisser Millennium WS, The Last Century, and it runs from January 16th to February 12th. As usual, any SSR you pull has a 40% chance to be either featured unit, with the remaining 20% chance reserved for any random off-banner unit in the regular summoning pool. I hope you have some resources saved up for this banner, but before we get into the meat of the episode, I wanted to take a minute to talk once again about Waifu Wars. Waifu Wars is a community tournament hosted by the game's biggest PvP guild, Mystery, and organized by friends of the channel, Ozma and JB. A brand new season is starting this week, and it's looking like it might be the biggest turnout yet. Team Young Jessica with Loon 3 and Fire's Requiem, Mwahahaha with Puelahala and Olivo, Team Best Jessica, No Corruption Here with JB and Ozma, Team Freerun, Team Freerun, some anime reference with Moondoggy and Ski, Team Best Kakanas Twin with Alka and Zabito, Team Helavagal with Wallian and Say41, Team Lusting for the Lussy with Tommy Ball and Sadao, Team Lunatics with Valabar and Zigram, Team Jailbait with Mikey Likes It and Falcon, Team Mailbait with Freekong and Rice Crew, Team Is This a Princess with Whooper and Volk, Team Elise OnlyFans with Bitin' Bit and Donbran, Team Selv's Stretch Sweater with Lonebird and True Hero, Team Hentai Lana with Cookie Stir and Shining Nikki, and Team Michelle with Will _ and Aminoct. So there are lots of teams, there are still a few days left to register a team. So if you'd like to join and play some off-meta PvP, or if you're just interested in spectating, you can still hop into Mystery's Discord and find out when games are happening. I'm sure someone will pop a server invite into the comments below, and I'll pin it when that happens. You can also just keep watching my channel and Ozma's channel for coverage when it comes up. Anyway, let's get things back on track here with Alia. Alia is a relatively normal magical DPS with a talent stack gimmick. She can accumulate 3 different kinds of stacks. 1 heals nearby allies after she acts, 1 boosts offensive stats, and 1 triggers random buffs. Each of these can individually stack up to 3 times, and she gets a new one at the start of each round. When she has at least 2 stacks of the same buff, she gets unit range +2, and if she has 3 of the same buff, her skill cooldowns are accelerated. So, gradually stack up talent buffs to get beneficial effects. Pretty straightforward so far. Her unique 1-cost skill is the one that lets you control her stack economy. You get to choose one of 3 effects to cast on an ally within 2 spaces. You can cash in up to 3 stacks of her first talent buff, healing 15% HP per stack. You can cash in stacks of her second talent buff, increasing attack and int, or you can cash in stacks of her third talent buff, granting a random buff per stack. Using this skill returns a number of talent stacks equal to the number you cashed in, so you can use this to try to convert between them. It also lets her move again with remaining mobility and take another action. Her unique 2-cost skill is a Reaper-like single-target attack that heals her for a percentage of damage dealt. It also ignores 20% of enemy MDef if she has 2 stacks of the same talent buff, it doesn't matter which one. Her 3-cost skill has a rad passive effect. If she has 3 stacks of the same talent buff, her targets can't counterattack her. When used actively, it's a 1.6 times damage single-target attack that lets her move afterwards based on how many stacks she has. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, Grenier, and Bright Summoner, Origins of Light, buffed by Dehart, Jugler, and Freya, and Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna, Shelfaniel, and Christiane. For bonds, she unlocks the defensive bond for her twin sister Ilia, whom she also needs for her own defensive bond. For content, in PvE, she's a long-range mage with some buff utility and some good mobility options, so she'll be fine for general PvE. On the PvP side, she doesn't see much use. Being locked to a holy class doesn't help too much in the age of the Dragon Slayer. She does have Heaven's Sanction with +2 range, and some buffing and healing utility that can be used at the same time as her attacking skills, so I could see her being used as a New Age Rachel or Kaguya with better action economy, but that really only impacts a turd like Ozma. For her build is pretty bog standard. Scepter and whatever armor, hat, and accessory fit with your goal. One of her 2 holy classes has a heart bond that grants plus 10% damage when she has 5 buffs, which should be always. Give her Breeze or Full Moon for boosted damage, and you're all set. Okay, so let's move on to the better twin, Ilia. Ilia is also a magical DPS, but her gimmick revolves around her ability to summon a terrifying angelic being. She's a bit like Sagni on steroids if his owl were also on steroids. After acting, she can summon this horrific super owl to her current position. It has several effects. Nearby allies who enter combat get some healing. Ilia can cast skills off the angel's position. If she ends her action within 1 ring of the angel, she gains +2 angel range, +5% int, and 1 turn faster cooldown. This can stack up to 5 times. 5 times. 5 times. That means, at max power, Ilia can cast on stuff up to 13 spaces away from the angel's position, with +25% int, +30% damage from her talent, with 5 turns of instant cooldown on DPS skills.
What did he say?
Her unique 1-cost skill grants a single ally 1 stack of debuff immunity, plus an additional stack for each of those insane angel steroid stacks, up to a maximum of 5. This doubles as a 2-space act again. Her unique 2-cost skill is a mega griefing AoE that teleports everyone it hits to a random position within 3 spaces of Ilia or the angel. If she has at least 2 stacks of angel steroids, any enemy in range of the angel has to use an additional point of mobility to move. Back in the day, this kind of mobility debuff had like class conditions and stuff. No longer. If you can see an angel, you're slow now. Congratulations. Her 3-cost skill beefs up defense and MDef for allies who are close to the angel, and it also gives Ilia a revive, which detoxes the angel of all steroid stacks. When used actively, this is a 1.6 times single target spell that splashes more of her 1C immunity stacks around to nearby allies. If this skill gets a kill, she gains an additional stack of angel juice. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, Grenier, and Bright Summoner, Origins of Light, buffed by Dehart, Jugler, and Freya, and Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna, Shelfaniel, and Christiane. For bonds, she unlocks the defensive bond for her twin sister Alia, whom she also needs for her own defensive bond. Thankfully, the attack bonds for both of these characters are not locked by other SSR units. For content, in PvE, given that her range is yes, and she can grant debuff immunity, and she has good off-healing, she's a great PvE generalist, even for newer players. On the PvP side, she's obviously bananas. I've seen enough late-game clips of her teleporting entire enemy teams into the fog, which they then can't escape because of the Angel's mobility reduction. But even before it comes to that, she's a great zoning tool with the Angel's massive range. Definitely highly tuned for PvP. For her build her as a mage, partly because of an easier damage condition in the Heart Bond, partly because Holy Stonks go way down after Dragon Slayer comes out. Now, here's a fun thing. Remember that angel-wide mobility down aura? Well, that aura counts as a debuff, so you can use Astaroth and always have the full int boost active. Then people will try to run either Compass to deactivate a target's Bond of Arashi, or Apostle of Doom to deactivate a target's Butterfly and try to get a cheeky stun. If that's not for you, then you can opt for a safer Bracer build. Robe and headgear will depend on how you're trying to play, so something like Tenyo and Electric for more defensive styles, Nebulous and Starcrown for more offensive styles. I've seen people enchant with Meteor to try to go all in on murder, but Breeze and Full Moon are probably going to be the most enduring, well-rounded enchants. Okay, and that brings us to the notes for noobs. Alia is a fine PvE mage, fun for people who like dynamic mechanics, and most important, unlocks a bond for her sister. It is a defensive bond, so it's not even the end of the world if you don't have it, but the point is, it's fine if you do get her. She's fine. Ilia is a bananas must-summon for PvP, and an excellent unit to have in your toolkit for PvE as well, especially for newer players. Her int bond is free, there's no make-or-break functionality locked behind level 70 with her 3C, and the Angel can still get 3 stacks at only 3 stars, which is 9 total range. Overall, must-summon character. And that brings us to my usual reminder about upcoming banners. The remainder of this month features a raid-up banner with Tabers and Jace, just in time for Tabers' unique headgear, and Destiny banners featuring Transcender, Leo Beck and Polyol, Prisha, Sissy White and Mariandel, and Ledden, Rachel, and Ultimuller. Now, this is also the month we were originally supposed to get the Shining Resonance rerun, which Zilong bumped ahead by several months for Global. That's why we're getting casting passives for Kirika, Sonya, and Excella this month. But it remains to be seen if there's going to be a replacement banner to fill the gap in the schedule. Maybe they'll surprise us. I know Paimiko loves surprises. In next month's major update, Zilong is going back to the deep well of fanfic elves, giving us original characters Safrine and Nornorin. Next month is also the first month of that quarterly free SSR that Zilong promised us during the anniversary, so look forward to your choice of a free Mew or 20 Universal Rainbow Shards. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I'm going to try to get 1 copy of each, and I have a pretty decent stockpile of tickets and vouchers thanks to anniversary stuff and that long string of double and triple Gates of Fate. I know I didn't stream my Enya pulls last month because I was feeling sick and I didn't want to delay summoning because I wanted to get her into the action right away, but I will have a stream or a video up on Thursday for Ilia. How about you? Let us know your summoning plans in the comments or on This Old Neon's Discord server. Thank you so much for watching, and extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members Levitt, Jerome Meyer, Kate Soon, Jorge Luis, Unknown Gaming, and Seraph Keel, and welcome to new Langrisser tier channel member Sarah94. Thanks so much for supporting the channel, everyone. I wish you all the best of luck, and I will catch you in the next Should You Summon.